Right now it's time to stay indoors as we go through the COVID-19 pandemic. But one day things will get better and people will start traveling again. Traveling has always been considered as expensive. But that is not really the case. You guys can travel to countries which are really beautiful and are pocket-friendly too. Let us discuss the top 10 cheapest countries to travel in the world. Number 1, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is considered as the heart and soul of the Caribbean. Puerto Rico was colonized by Spain following the arrival of Christopher Columbus in 1493. Puerto Ricans have been citizens of the United States since 1917 and can move freely between the island and the mainland. Puerto Rico has the same currency, and even the people speak the same language. Puerto Rico has the highest GDP per capita and the most developed and competitive economy. However, its poverty rate is higher than the poorest U.S. state, and the territory struggles with chronically large debt, considerable unemployment, and a high rate of immigration. It has a rich history and culture, exceptional food, pristine beaches, majestic mountains, relaxation, adventure. A trip around Puerto Rico will give you an adventure for a lifetime. Number 2, Vietnam. A country squeezed between the South China Sea and the Laos and Cambodia borders. Vietnam can be considered as the land of visually beautiful landscapes. Vietnam is one of Southeast Asia's most beautiful countries, attracting travelers to its lush mountains, bustling cities and golden sand beaches. Despite rapid modernization in Vietnam's urban centers of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh, time-honored traditions remain intact amongst the locals. There are numerous ancient landmarks and colonial structures that have survived throughout the bumps and scrapes of history. Buddhist shrines can be found next to towering skyscrapers, where you can experience vibrant festivals and ceremonies dating back hundreds of years. Long, sandy beaches are home to luxurious resorts and fine dining venues, making them ideal romantic getaways, while expansive rice terraces on the hills make for excellent hiking excursions. Whether you're planning a historical tour of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh, a relaxing beach break, or simply want to escape the bustling city life. Number 3, Huacachina. Huacachina is a small desert city in Peru, surrounded by sand dunes and some of the driest climate in the world. With a laguna and palm trees in the center of it, this little city is a true desert oasis that is quite the attraction for travelers and backpackers. If you are planning a trip to Peru, it's well worth to spend a few days in Huacachina enjoying the warm desert breeze and fun adventurous activities. While not as famous as Nazca to the south, Huacachina, an aesthetically perfect desert oasis 4 kilometers west of Ica, is a firmly established stopover on southern Peru's well-trampled Gringo Trail, and with good reason. Sandboarding, dune buggy rides and good old romantic idling are the orders of the day here. This is backpacker central, so expect plenty of late-night parties and international flavors. Many people just make it here for a quick overnight and dune trip the next day, but a few days of relaxed strolls and dune climbs may just channel your inner Kai. Number 4, Philippines. The Philippines, officially the Republic of the Philippines, is an archipelagic country in Southeast Asia. Situated in the western Pacific Ocean, it consists of about 7,641 islands that are broadly categorized under 3 main geographical divisions from north to south: Luzon, Visayas and Mindanao. The Philippines has a little bit of something for everyone. Home to many stunning white sand beaches, crystal clear waters, lush rice terraces, world-class surfing and diving, the Philippines is slowly becoming a must-visit destination. Located in Southeast Asia, the Philippines is not so common for backpackers to travel to due to its lack of land connections to neighboring countries. Despite this, everyone who goes ends up falling in love with both its stunning landscapes and warm people. Number 5, Cappadocia. Turkey. Cappadocia, Turkey is the historic area of central Anatolia, bounded by the towns of Hac1 Bekta, Aksaray, Nida and Kayseri. It was known as Cappadocia in ancient times and is still called Cappadocia informally today. Cappadocia is Turkey's most visually striking region, especially the moonscape area around the towns of Urgup, Gorim, Ichaiser, Avanos and Mustafapae, where erosion has formed caves, clefts, pinnacles, fairy chimneys and sensuous folds in the soft volcanic rock. Although the volcanic landscape can appear inhospitable, the mineral-rich soil is excellent for growing vegetables and fruits, making Cappadocia a rich agricultural region. It has always been one of Anatolia's prime grape-growing areas and still boasts many productive vineyards and wineries. The Bible's New Testament tells of Cappadocia, but in fact this part of central Anatolia has been important since Hittite times, long before the time of Jesus. Number 6, India. India's landscapes are as fantastically varied as its cultural traditions. From the snow-dusted peaks of the Himalaya to the sun-splashed beaches of the tropical south, The country has a bounty of outdoor attractions. Among all these natural treasures is a wealth of architectural gems, from serene temples rising out of pancake flat plains to crumbling forts peering over plunging ravines. Indian cuisine is a scrumptious smorgasbord of regionally distinct recipes, each with their own traditional preparation techniques and presentation styles, from the competing flavors of masterfully marinated meats and thalas, plate meals, to the simple splendor of vegetarian curries and deep-sea delights. Spirituality is the ubiquitous thread in India's richly diverse tapestry, weaving all the way from the snowy mountains of the far north to the tropical shores of the deep south. Hinduism and Islam have the most followers, while Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism are also widely practiced. Number 7. Phuket, Thailand. Phuket is one of the biggest destinations for travelers in Thailand. Backpacking Phuket, visiting here on a holiday, coming to learn Muay Thai, or sitting on the resorts, everyone travels to Phuket eventually for something. The island is the biggest all of the country and contains a wide range of beaches and environments to see. This is where you see all the good and bad of Thai tourism, from overdeveloped beaches and sex tourism to tiny towns with no tourists and authentic Thailand. But, while most visitors stick to the overdeveloped south, if you stay away from Patong Beach, you can avoid most of the overdevelopment and crowds. The north part of the island is one of my favorite places to visit in all of Thailand. It is a paradise without the crowds, prices, or crazy drunk tourists. Phuket draws a lot of tourists, and if you really want to enjoy the area, get out of the main spots. Number 8. Nicaragua. Nicaragua, set between the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, is a Central American nation known for its dramatic terrain of lakes, volcanoes and underdeveloped beaches. Even though Nicaragua is the largest country in Central America, years of political and civil unrest, coupled with hugely destructive earthquakes, have meant that it is one of the least visited countries in the region. However, after years of slumber, this country is now the it spot for travelers. Expats are even moving in and buying the property. This is a beautiful, wonderful country, and it's better to get there now before it catches on and prices skyrocket. Number 9. Sahara Desert. There are very few places on Earth that compare to the incredible landscapes you'll see visiting the Sahara Desert. Running roughly north-south along Morocco's eastern border with neighboring Algeria, the Sahara Desert is the world's largest hot desert. In fact, the Sahara covers an area roughly the size of the entire United States. Many travelers visit Morocco specifically with the intention of venturing off into the desert and spending a night under the stars. And we can't blame them. A desert adventure is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity you shouldn't miss out on. Number 10. Meteora, Greece. Meteora, from the Greek word meteoros, means suspended in air, and from your vantage point the monastery perched on the pinnacle of a rocky monolith illustrates just how fitting that name is. As you stand looking out upon the landscape, you can't help but wonder at the first hermits to enter these mountains 1,000 years ago, climbing these massive rocks using simple tools and bits of rope. Seemingly by force of sheer will alone, they then made homes in hallowed caves and built shrines to their god within. You wonder what it was like to be one man, alone, living in a wind-swept cave within these rocky behemoths, greeting each sunrise and each sunset in solitude. What would drive a person to such extremes? How profound did their faith have to be? And the monks who came later to build their bastions on the pinions of the cliffs, hauling each and every stone that compassed the monasteries of Meteora, how strong had their dedication been? It almost boggles the mind to think about.